powered by the Associated Press for best newscasts. Live, local, breaking news. This is News Channel 3, covering West Michigan, live at 6.
Ran out to the back, seen the flames, asked where everybody was, tried going in the house, trying to get everybody out.
Breaking overnight, a fire rips through a home in Battle Creek. One person is dead, 2 others in the hospital suffering from burns. We're live on the scene with the latest details. A warm-up is on the way for West Michigan, but power crews say that could mean more power outages. We'll explain why. And unemployment is set to run out for millions of Americans. We'll take a look and see how West Michigan will be affected. Plus, get ready to say goodbye to your light bulbs. We're just days away from the final phase-out of incandescent lights. We'll take a look at what that means for consumers. Today is Friday, December 27th. Good morning. I'm Marcy Kubriger. Last Friday of 2013. Hard to believe. Let's start off live look at your roads right now. This is your MDOT camera. I-196 at College Ave this morning. It just got a little darker. Don't know why. No good reason for it. Most things looking good for your Friday morning commute, though. Roads should be pretty smooth this morning. You might run into a little haze out there, but nothing that's going to slow you down, hopefully. Time right now, 6:01. Let's get a check of your weather on the ones with meteorologist Cindy Calbaum. Cindy.
You kind of gave me a little jolt. Sorry. Like last Friday of 2013.
I know, hard to believe, right?
I can't, then that'd be the last set. Oh, geez.
And I thought, I wrote 7/2012, like it was still July. So I'm clearly not ready for 2014 if I'm still writing July of 2012.
Let's come to December.
Well, let's go to December of the next year. I'm not even there. I'm a year and a half behind already.
But like you mentioned this morning, and we saw on our MDOT camera, we are seeing some quiet conditions for this morning. It's a plus. You might want to start your car a little earlier, just so guys have it nice and warm, kind of adding to what the great weather we'll have as we head towards later on for this afternoon. Though we are seeing some cooler temperatures, or some chillier temperatures if you want to say that, into the mid to upper 20s as you head along 96 and north of that. Anything south, we're seeing those lower 30s for this morning. Temperatures are starting to fall as we head towards daybreak. Many of us will be seeing those upper 20s for this morning, but along in 96 as north of that as well, we're also doing a little bit of patchy fog for this morning around Holland, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, and Lansing. And the same thing now, some hazy conditions along the lakeshore from South Haven down through Benton Harbor. You might want to give yourself a few extra minutes if you don't want to have to deal with that haze as we head towards later on this morning. Quiet conditions now. All that snow that we had to deal with 6 hours ago is 6 hours now well off into our east. So we get to enjoy some nicer conditions for today. We're talking back into the mid-30s for many of us under a partly cloudy sky. We are seeing warmer weather as we head towards your Saturday. We'll have your forecast coming up for you in just a couple minutes. Marcy.
Cindy, thank you. Breaking overnight, a devastating fire claims the life of a young man after his Battle Creek home caught fire. It was reported just before midnight at a home on Summer Street. Family members tell News Channel 3 2 others have been hospitalized with burns. News Channel 3's Alex Jokic has been at the scene all morning long, speaking with police and neighbors who work to try and save this family. Alex, what's the latest out there?
Well, Marcy, we've also been talking with family members all morning long. They tell us they're just devastated. They're trying to cope with the loss of their cousin, the young man who died in this house early this morning, while also trying to stay strong for his parents. Both are in the hospital right now, both with severe burns, both on ventilators. Family members say they're still trying to wrap their minds around this tragedy. Neighbors tell News Channel 3 they woke up to this. Huge flames shooting out of the house next door, hearing the screams of 2 people stuck on the roof, shouting that 2 others were stuck inside.
I tried going in the back door, like I was just covered in smoke. As soon as I went in the door, was in there for like maybe 2 seconds, came out, went inside of my house, grabbed a hammer, went to the side door and broke it open. And then I tried using my body to force myself in, and I couldn't get in.
It looked like it was coming out of our house. It was that close and that far. We went around back and they was just shooting out everywhere to the point where the firemen weren't even able to get in.
Fire crews say they found the body of the young man who died on the first floor. Neighbors tell us he was disabled and always brought a sense of joy to Summer Street.
Every time I'd take my son to school in the mornings, he would be up and waving, and so would his mom, just waving to me and just saying hi. They were just such friendly people.
He'd always like to make you smile, even when he wasn't trying to talk.
Now the fire inspector is working to find out what sparked this tragic fire just 2 days after Christmas.
We have a very unfortunate situation here, and basically with the fact that we've had one fatality as a result of this fire, we're going to do some serious investigation to try to find out what happened.
Now, we're told the family's 2 other kids who lived in this house were also taken to the hospital but were treated and released. The battalion chief tells me at this point the fire does not look suspicious, but they are still investigating. Live in Battle Creek, Alex Jokic, News Channel 3.
Alex, thank you. Utility crews are making serious progress restoring power to thousands of homes that have been in the dark since the weekend. Here's the latest breakdown by county. In Barry County, where a state of emergency has been declared, just under 7,000 people are still without power now. That is about half as many outages as were there yesterday. Almost 2,000 remain in Ionia County. Everywhere else, outages are in the triple digits except for in Allegan County, where it's down to just 28. Consumers Energy crews are working around the clock to restore power, but officials warn that these warmer temperatures could actually lead to more outages, with melting snow and ice placing more pressure on already weak limbs. Crews say they know this is not easy, but they're doing what they can just as quickly as possible.
We understand that they're cold, they're frustrated with how long it's taking. We're on a 16-hour schedule, so we'll work 16 hours and we'll take 8 hours off.
And crews have been called in from several other states to help out. Consumers expect to have power restored to everyone by Saturday. A Wayland Church music director accused of having sex with 2 teenagers is expected in court today. Today, a judge in Allegan County will decide if there's enough evidence to send 32-year-old Nathan Lavoie to trial. He's accused of having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old girl between 2011 and 2013. After he was charged, a second teenage girl came forward with more allegations. Lavoie is facing multiple 4th-degree counts of criminal sexual conduct. New this morning, the family of a missing medical resident from Kalamazoo say they're now offering a $15,000 reward for information that leads to finding Talika Patrick.
Hi, baby. Good night. It's Talika.
New videos of that missing woman are surfacing on YouTube. 2 videos posted November 8th and 10th show 30-year-old Talika Patrick speaking to an apparent love interest. They're the newest pieces of a growing puzzle surrounding her disappearance. She hasn't been seen since a shuttle dropped her off in the Borges Hospital parking lot back on December 5th. State police found her car a couple of hours later abandoned along the highway in Porter County, Indiana. Patrick's family has hired a private investigator. Now, her family released this statement saying, quote, "To our knowledge, Talika was not in a romantic relationship, and it's unclear to whom she's making reference in the videos. We pray that Talika is safe and remain hopeful that we will find her soon." President Obama took time out of his vacation in Hawaii yesterday to sign a bipartisan budget bill reducing the across-the-board spending cuts of the sequester. The measure restores about $63 billion over 2 years and includes another $85 billion in projected savings. It also prevents another government shutdown for at least 2 years, but it doesn't address long-term unemployment benefits, which are set to expire tomorrow. More than 1.3 million unemployed Americans will be affected. And taking a look at the impact right here in West Michigan and Calhoun County, 578 people will stop getting those unemployment checks. In Kalamazoo County, more than 900 are affected, and in Kent County, the number is well over 2,000. The White House economic advisors say Michigan will also lose more than 8,400 jobs as a result. Some lawmakers are working on a bill for a 3-month extension, but that cannot be voted on until after the new year. Coming up on News Channel 3, we're following breaking news overseas. We're learning more this morning that there have been 2 terrorist bombings, one in Lebanon, another in Afghanistan. We'll update you on what we know so far.
Time right now is 6:11 on this Friday morning. We are only seeing one concern this morning, and that is some patchy fog. We'll get to visibility in just a couple moments, but take a look at the temperatures right now in Kalamazoo and Battle Creek, 32 and 31 degrees. Not too bad for this morning. We are seeing overcast skies right now, some thicker cloud cover in others, so that means we might see a little bit of filtered sunshine once that sun does rise this morning. A very light wind is leading to just a little bit of a wind chill for this morning into the upper 20s, so that's a plus as well. Battle Creek right now at 31, but Holland right now at 28 degrees. They are also seeing just right now a mostly cloudy sky, so a few more breaks there along the lake shore. A little stronger wind. It's going to lead to a little bit more of a wind chill right now at around 23 degrees into Holland. We are dealing with some light patchy fog for this morning as well. Basically, it runs along and maybe just a little bit south of 96. It includes Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Holland, and Lansing. Now as it approaches down through the lake shore around South Haven and Benton Harbor for this morning. We're seeing good conditions here in Kalamazoo as well as in Battle Creek, down through Three Rivers and Coldwater for this morning. So that's a nice start. We're just dealing with a little bit of fog for this morning. Live Doppler radar is quiet, will remain quiet for today. Same thing for your Saturday. Most of Sunday, this will be quiet as well. And then it becomes very active once again as snow approaches the area for late Sunday into Monday. So for today, we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover this morning, a few breaks here and there as we approach daylight. What we're watching, though, is a scenario setup of a very broad area of high pressure. You can see how clear it is down through Illinois, most of Indiana, into Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, as well as into the Central Plains. A lot of activity to our north, though. We are watching disturbances working its way through from Canada, but with this high in place, nothing's really going to pass. What we're going to see first is a warm front approach the area. Give us a little extra cloud cover for this afternoon, but what it's going to do is, yeah, it's going to give us a little bit of that cloud cover, but it's also going to give us a southerly wind. That combination will keep us away from really cold conditions for Saturday morning. By Saturday afternoon, we've got a lot going on to our north, but we're sitting nice and quiet just because of that high is moving down just to our south. So we are seeing that blocking pattern of no systems working its way closer to us. So that means it's blocking all the cold Arctic air. So we get to enjoy some very nice, pleasant conditions for Saturday. But here comes the system that's just going to kind of bring winter right back in full force as we head towards your Sunday. Like I said, Sunday morning will be quiet. Sunday late afternoon to the evening, though, snow will once again return to West Michigan. So mid-30s for today. Southerly winds by this afternoon around 5 to 15 miles an hour. Yeah, might give us a little small wind chill, but still, we get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine for today. And then as we head towards, bless you,
thank you,
upper 20s for tonight, mixture of clouds and some clear skies here and there. Those southerly winds once again kind of bump up, helping to keep our temperatures into the upper 20s. Enjoy Saturday. Let's just have a moment of, just a moment with Saturday. Because the rest of the week, I don't want to even look at Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, it's
hello New Year.
Gonna get messy and cold for sure.
Gonna get cold. US 131 at 196, showing a good example of the hazy conditions right now Kent County is seeing. The good news is, though, everything else is really quiet out there for this morning. Nice for the drivers. They need it.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing really impeding your vision there as you're driving either.
Just take your time as always.
Yeah. All right, Cindy. Thanks so much. Well, no surprise here. Santa, very popular. Very popular. Folks at NORAD say their Santa tracking program logged, get this, 19.58 million unique visitors on its website. Were you one of them?
I was a just fanatic. I was watching this constantly on Christmas Eve.
Where did he spend the most time? Did you check that out?
No, but how many presents he delivered was just mind-boggling. Billions.
Crazy. Well, volunteers actually took more than 117,000 calls from kids checking on the jolly old man's whereabouts. They were curious, wanted to know when Santa was getting to them. Those numbers are up from last year by about 3,000. Santa was also big on Twitter. No surprise there either. More than 146,000 following his progress.
Very cool.
Well, a Florida family got a visitor of a different kind on Christmas. A grizzly bear in Florida. It was caught red-handed on camera in search of a late-night snack just hours after the family says it served Christmas dinner.
I came downstairs thinking somebody might be in my house. I went to go open the door and the bear's, I guess, behind was pressed against the glass. So he bust through and he came to this can where he thought, I guess, a turkey was in there.
All right. That looks like a black bear to me, not a grizzly bear. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says bears, they'll eat almost anything as they pack on extra calories before winter. And because they can smell food from a mile away, that's crazy. Leaving out food or garbage can be pretty tempting for those bears. Put it away. The state of Utah is taking its fight over same-sex marriage all the way to the Supreme Court, and that could be as early as today. Details straight ahead. And trapped in the ice at the bottom of the world, but hope is on the way. We take a look at efforts to rescue passengers stuck on a cruise ship in Antarctica for days.
Seeing alerts sent to your email or cell. Go to WWMT.com.
We're following breaking news around the globe this morning. NATO is now confirming 3 service members have been killed in the Taliban suicide bombing in Kabul. A car packed with explosives detonated next to a NATO military convoy. It happened just a short time ago on a main road that passes by a series of government compounds and military facilities. The assassination of a pro-American former government official in Lebanon has left 4 others dead and more than 70 wounded. This morning, a car bomb in Beirut killed Mohammed Qatta, a former Lebanese ambassador to the United States and finance minister. No one has claimed responsibility for that attack. Qatta was a staunch critic of the militant group Hezbollah and had tweeted about them just an hour before his death. Japan's government has given the go-ahead to relocate a controversial U.S. military base. Okinawa's governor approved a proposal allowing for construction of a new base in a rural area. The Marine Corps Air Base Futama has been unpopular with the island's population because of crimes committed by Americans stationed there. Relocation comes more than 17 years after the U.S. and Japanese governments agreed on that original move. Help has arrived for an expedition ship trapped in the frozen seas off Antarctica. 3 ice-breaking vessels are en route to the ship, which has been stuck since Monday. Witnesses on the ship say they can already see one of those rescue ships, which should be there sometime today. The leader of the stranded expedition says all 74 people on board are safe, despite having spent Christmas at a frozen standstill hundreds of miles from civilization. Well, time right now, 6:21. Let's get a check of your weather with meteorologist Cindy Kalbaum. No frozen conditions here, thawing conditions here this morning.
Thawing conditions for this morning. Some of us are seeing temperatures below freezing, mid to upper 20s around Muskegon, Mount Pleasant, as well as into Grand Rapids, Holland, and Lansing. Everyone else, lower 30s for this morning. Some of us are above freezing, which is a plus. We'll take that. Many of us, though, who are still into those lower 30s will see those upper 20s for this morning. One small concern that we're seeing right now is some patchy fog or some hazy conditions around Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Lansing, and Holland. A little bit of haze as we head from South Haven down through Benton Harbor for this morning. Good thing is, though, once that fog or the haze is gone, we'll see some sunshine for this afternoon. Mid-30s for today. Like this weather, let's improve it as we head towards your Saturday. Lower to mid-40s. Enjoy it because Old Man Winter comes back as we head towards your late Sunday afternoon and will last into the new year. We'll be right back.
News Channel 3 is sponsored in part by Art Van Pure Sleep.
Welcome back. The State Department is working this morning to authenticate a reported Al-Qaeda video showing an American hostage begging to be freed.
9 years ago, I came to Pakistan to help my government. Now, when I need my government, it seems that I have been totally abandoned and forgotten.
The 13-minute video is with 72-year-old Warren Weinstein. It was released on Christmas Day. The American contract worker was taken from his home in Pakistan several years ago. In the video, he goes on to urge President Obama to negotiate with Al-Qaeda for his freedom.
I would like to ask my family not to give up hope unless you continue to try to get President Obama and his administration to actively pursue my release. We may never see each other again.
Last year, an Al-Qaeda leader boasted of Weinstein's capture and called on followers to kidnap other Western targets to negotiate for the release of the 1993 World Trade Center bomber, who is currently in custody. A shooting spree in Raceland, Louisiana last night left 4 people dead, including the suspected gunman. Police believe 38-year-old Ben Freeman shot and killed his wife before going to 2 homes and opening fire. Freeman's body was later found dead in a vehicle parked on the side of the highway. 3 more people were injured and sent to the hospital. A local councilman is among the injured. Well, after court court appeals and cases, Utah is taking its fight against same-sex marriage all the way to the Supreme Court. State officials have been fighting to stop same-sex marriages after a U.S. district judge ruled last week that the state's ban on them was unconstitutional. Same-sex couples rushed to courthouses for marriage licenses after the ruling. Utah now wants the Supreme Court to order the marriages to stop after a lower court refused to do so. When filed, Utah's appeal would go to Justice Sonia Sotomayor. She could rule on Utah's application herself or ask the entire 9-member court to weigh in. A lawyer for the family of a 13-year-old girl pronounced brain dead after tonsil surgery says there is another facility willing to keep the girl on life support. Yesterday, a lawyer for the family asked Children's Hospital of Oakland to cooperate by performing a few procedures needed to move Jahai McMath. Earlier this week, a judge ruled McMath is brain dead and that the hospital is not required to keep her on life support past December 30th. Coming up on News Channel 3, those people stuck in the dark for the last 5 days may be entitled to some cash back from consumers. We'll explain.
We went around back and they was just shooting out everywhere.
And we're following breaking news out of Battle Creek. One man dies in a house fire this morning. 2 others are fighting for their lives. We're live on the scene with the details.
Happy holidays from all of us at News Channel 3.
You're watching News Channel 3. I'm Marcy Koberger. Now you're live at 6:30. Top 3 stories. 1 person is dead, 2 more injured after a tragic house fire in Battle Creek. That fire was first reported just before midnight at a home on Summer Street. We have a live report following the newest developments coming up in just a few minutes. The family of a missing medical resident from Kalamazoo is now offering a $15,000 reward to find her. Talika Patrick was last seen December 5th. 2 new videos have surfaced on YouTube that were uploaded in November showing 30-year-old Patrick speaking to an apparent love interest. They're the newest pieces of a growing puzzle surrounding her disappearance. Time right now, 6:30. One other big story of the morning is your weather or your non-weather, a break from the winter weather we've been seeing. Meteorologist Cindy Caldwell in now with a check of your weather on the ones. Cindy.
Thank you, Marcy, and good morning to everyone. Just like she said, we are seeing very quiet conditions this morning. That's a plus for all of us. Finally get to enjoy a morning that we're not seeing any frozen precipitation hindering our morning commute. Temperatures, though, look very similar. What we're seeing right now is the mid to upper 20s as you head for the north. Heading south there along 94 and south of that, we're in the lower 30s for this morning. Many of us around 94 will see those upper 20s as well as we head towards daybreak. One issue, though, very minor issue, though, is some light patchy fog to some hazy conditions that we're seeing around Holland, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Lansing, and then we have those hazy conditions around South Haven and Benton Harbor for this morning. We're starting off this morning with some cloud cover. We'll see some more sunshine as we head towards this afternoon. Mid-30s for today will lead to the 40s for your Saturday. We'll have your full forecast coming up. Marcy.
All right, Cindy, thanks so much. We're staying on top of breaking news this morning after a young man is killed in a fire at his Battle Creek home. That fire was reported just before midnight at a home on Summer Street. Family members tell News Channel 3 2 other residents are recovering in the hospital this morning. News Channel 3's Alex Jokic has been out live at the scene all morning long where those flames broke out. Alex.
Marcy, family members tell us the mom and dad who were rushed to the hospital are now in stable condition. They do have severe burns and are hooked up to ventilators, but they are expected to survive. Now, if you take a look at the house itself behind me here, you'll notice it doesn't look too bad. In fact, it barely looks burned at all. But the fire that raged inside caused some major heartbreak for the family of 5 who lived here. Fire crews confirmed a man in his young 20s died here this morning. Family members say his mother has burns over 16% of her body, while his father has burns over 8% of his body. Neighbors say the scene was just terrifying. You can see flames shooting out of the house. A neighbor tells us he heard people screaming out on the roof, ran outside, and then found the dad and his disabled son were trapped inside the burning building. The fire inspector says they found the young man's body on the first floor near the back of the house, which is likely where the fire began. Both family members and neighbors say they're just devastated that this young man was well known in the neighborhood for his bright smile and always positive attitude.
I can't imagine the loss they're going through right now, and my heart goes out to them very much, and I just pray for them.
He was the joy of their life. He's going to be greatly missed.
Now we're We're told the family's 2 other kids who lived in this house were also taken to the hospital but were treated and released. The battalion chief tells me at this point the fire does not look suspicious, but they are still investigating. Live in Battle Creek, Alex Jokic, News Channel 3.
Alex, thank you. And some people who've been living without power for days could see some money in the mail from Consumers Energy. The Michigan Public Service Commission requires utilities to offer a $25 credit to customers who've been without electricity for at least 5 days. You can apply for that credit online. We've posted a link with more information on our website, wwmt.com. Well, when students return to school from their holiday break, a new law will go into effect that's aimed at saving their lives. The School Access to Emergency Epinephrine Act, which was recently signed by President Obama, encourages states to adopt laws requiring schools to have stock EpiPens on hand just in case of an emergency. Staff will also have to be trained, and schools will need a plan in place if the situation presents itself. Parents and doctors are praising the new legislation, calling it a game changer.
Food allergies have increased by about 50% in the last decade alone, and currently approximately 2 to 6% of all children have some form of food allergy. And if you think about that, that's really about 1 to 2 children in every classroom in America on average.
And Michigan Congressman Fred Upton was a part of a bipartisan group that pushed the bill through. He says the law's purpose is to give parents peace of mind. A judge says some claims can go forward in a lawsuit linked to a contamination from a fruit processor in western Michigan. For more than 30 years, wastewater had been used to irrigate the fields surrounding the Bird's Eye plant in Fenville. It's causing high levels of iron, sodium, and arsenic in the groundwater there. Bird's Eye asked a federal judge to dismiss claims in a lawsuit filed by several families. The judge says some claims will remain alive and the case will move to trial on February 25th. In 2010, Bird's Eye agreed to build a wastewater treatment system. Area homes switched to public water back in 2011. The Governor Rick Snyder has signed laws making the state's capital a historic site. Snyder says the laws give the 135-year-old building the protection it deserves. The laws also created a commission to ensure the building is maintained. Now the Capitol building is one of nearly 2,500 National Historic Landmarks. Lawmakers, however, have not yet designated an ongoing funding source for Capitol maintenance projects. Governor Snyder has also signed a package of bills into law meant to protect you from credit card skimmers. Credit card skimmers are often attached to automatic teller machines. They record the information on your card along with the user's PIN. Many times they blend in so well that the victims don't even realize their information was stolen. The bills passed unanimously in the House and the Senate. They also make it a crime to use skimming devices. A person convicted of the crime could face 5 years in prison for a first offense, 15 years for a second offense. Signing up to become an organ donor may get a bit more complicated than checking a box on your driver's license. The government is preparing to regulate the new field of hand and face transplants like it does standard organ transplants. That would give more Americans who are disabled or disfigured by injury, illness, or combat a chance at this radical kind of reconstruction. But the first challenge is deciding how people should consent to donating. That policy will be developed over the next few months. Coming up on News Channel 3, the Connecticut State Police releasing its report on the Sandy Hook massacre, but the report has one important element that's missing. Plus, flames and black smoke roll in the New York sky after a fire breaks out at a store. What the biggest challenge was for firefighters. That's coming up after the break.
And so far for this morning, we are seeing some light patchy fog and some hazy conditions in certain locations here in West Michigan. Your local forecast is coming up right after the break. Time right now is quickly approaching 6:41 on this Friday morning, and we are seeing quiet conditions for today. This afternoon, we better for this morning. We are seeing just one small concern as we start off this Friday, and that is some fog. To Saturday, you can call it balmy if you want to. I like that word. Lower to mid 40s. Sounds balmy to me. Mixture of sun and clouds for your Saturday. Nice day for Saturday. Head out and enjoy it because cold and snow returns by late Sunday, will last all the way into the new year. We're talking highs into your mid to upper teens and lots of snow in the forecast as well. Let's get to your temperatures starting off this morning. Not looking too bad. We have the lower and mid 20s, upper 20s from Lansing down through Grand Rapids, Mount Pleasant, Muskegon, now 30 degrees into Holland. 30s, lower 30s, all the way across 94 and south of that. Those with the cooler temperatures up into the 40s are actually seeing the fog, the light fog for this morning. Some hazier conditions too around Benton Harbor, but 5 miles of visibility is very popular around South Haven up through Holland, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, and Lansing for this morning. Looking at okay conditions right now around Mount Pleasant here in Kalamazoo and Battle Creek for this morning. Well, we are watching too. Right now we're kind of stuck between two systems, which is fine because one is actually blocking anything from the north approaching our area, which we want to because we get something from the north. We know that snow is coming, lake effect snow, and cold air works its way into our direction. So as we head towards today and tomorrow, we're watching this setup of actually improving conditions. So as this warm front works its way off into the north as we head towards this afternoon, we will see a few extra clouds into our forecast. Some of us will see more of a partly to mostly cloudy sky for today, but once it lifts up to the north, we're in the warmer air. We're seeing stronger southerly winds around 10 to 20 miles an hour and a little bit of cloud cover for Saturday morning, and that combination is leading to us keeping those temperatures kind of where they are for this morning into those upper 20s. By Saturday, as we head towards the afternoon hours, the high is scooting way down to our south. It is blocking any of those low pressure systems off into our north coming near us, and then those lows are blocking the colder air, leaving it into Canada. This system, though, as we head towards Sunday, is going to give us our winter back. It's going to bring in the colder air. The cold front's going to pass. We will see some snow showers late Sunday into Monday, lake effect snow Monday into Tuesday, then another round of snow comes in. And you kind of get the picture that we're coming back to winter in full force as we head towards at least late Sunday into Monday. So mid-30s for today. We are dealing with that patchy fog for this morning, and then we'll have some breaks of sunshine as we head towards this afternoon. Tonight, upper 20s, thanks to those south winds and the cloud cover staying with us a little bit. Like I said, tomorrow, gorgeous weather, partly sunny skies, mixture of sun and clouds. We're talking about the lower to mid-40s, and then, yeah.
You don't want to talk about it anymore?
No.
After Saturday.
Those single digits depress me because you know that we're going to have a northwest wind, lake effect snow, and those northwest winds are going to make those single digits feel like the negative double digits. So as we say so long to 2013 and say so long to 2014, they're going to kind of feel like the same days back to back.
Yeah, cold start to your new year, but could be worse things.
Could be worse things, yeah.
Cindy, thank you. The Connecticut State Police will release its report on the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting today. It's expected to be thousands of pages long. Last month, prosecutors issued a summary of the investigation into the December 2012 shooting that killed 20 students and 6 staff members. The summary did not reveal the gunman's motive, but did say he had significant mental health issues. According to the report, he committed suicide as police arrived. That report will be made available online at the Connecticut State Police website. Flames and black smoke ripped through the roof of a Dollar K store in Yonkers, New York Thursday. Firefighters worked fast to try and keep that fire from spreading to neighboring buildings. Nearby apartments were evacuated just in case. There are no reports of injuries, but the cause is unknown. Well, sites like Match.com and eHarmony help you find love online, but how about finding the perfect babysitter? That's where UrbanSitter.com comes in. The website and mobile phone app allows parents to post an ad, describe their child and the maximum hourly rate that they're willing to pay a sitter. Then caregivers will respond if they want the job and talk with parents over the phone. The site also allows parents to check through Facebook to see if any one of their friends has used a particular sitter before or if they would recommend that sitter again. This story is the topic of our fast feedback this morning. Would you use an online site to hire a babysitter to watch your children? You can join that conversation on our WWMT TV Facebook page. Coming up on News Channel 3, get ready for lights out when it comes to incandescent bulbs, at least. As of next week, they're being phased out completely. We'll shed some light on what comes next for consumers. Welcome back. You may be in the dark when it comes to replacing traditional light bulbs in 2014. That's because production of the popular 60 and 40 watt incandescent light bulbs ends January 1st. It's been a gradual fade out from the old to new energy efficient bulbs since the Energy Independence and Security Act was passed back in 2007. Joining us this morning to tell us more about it and what new choices are available is Jordan Lehner. He's an associate from Home Depot in Portage. Thanks so much for being here this morning, Jordan.
Thanks for having us, Marcy.
We appreciate it. Okay, old light bulbs going away. Now, we've seen a gradual phase out of these bulbs over the last couple of years, since 2012, I believe. Yep. What is going away in 2014?
Basically what you're traditionally used to seeing. We have the old incandescents that are going out, the 60s and the 40s to be specific.
Okay.
This started back in 2012 with the 100 watts going out.
Sure.
This is a 60 right here. Basically what we're trying to do is make way for more energy efficient bulbs, such as the new Cree that just came out. It's available in your standard 40 and 60 wattage. It's an LED bulb, which is very energy efficient. It's actually 85% more efficient than the old incandescents.
Okay.
And it is 50% more efficient than the old CFLs.
A price point on something like this. What's this going to cost us?
Will run you under $10.
Okay.
If you go a little bit higher bright, it's going to run you about $12.97.
Okay. How long will something like this last
This has a 10-year
lamp?
warranty on it,
Oh, wow.
actually. Yep. So you're guaranteed for 10 years. Something like the Philips LED is guaranteed for 25.
Oh my goodness. So you're really making up the money that you would have spent, because this costs what, maybe
$1.47?
Okay. But over 10 years, you're actually going to end up saving money.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll actually make your money back within the first year, just based on the average energy savings.
Okay. Now these, popular choice than these because a little more traditional looking. Right?
You've seen these around for a few years now, so most people have switched over to these. You can save approximately about $130 a year running this. This will cost you about $1.69 per year to run.
So it's going to save you money over the long run, just over the physical aspect of the bulb itself, but also on your energy bill, what you're paying consumers.
You'll see the savings right away. Just by switching out a minimum of 5 bulbs, you'll start noticing a difference. Yep.
Now, we will still see these in stores for the time being. How long do you expect they'll still be on shelves?
Most stores would say have about a 6-month stock, if that. A lot of these go quick just based on the price point. But like I said, you'll make up your savings switching to something like the new Cree or the Philips just within the first year. So actually over the long run, it does pay off to go with something more energy efficient such as the LEDs.
Okay. Now I read something just in an article that only 4 out of 10 Americans are actually aware that these bulbs are being phased out. What sorts of questions do you get when people come in?
Most of the time people wonder why. They're not aware of the energy savings that you get switching to the LEDs. And the most noticeable thing right away is the price. Most people are concerned about why they would have to spend $10 on a bulb versus the $1.47, not realizing that it's something that you make up quite recently, and it actually lasts a lot longer, so you save yourself the maintenance of changing it out every year.
All right. Jordan, thanks so much for being here this morning. We appreciate it from you and Home Depot as well. And of course, we'll have more information about the change on our website, wwmt.com. Look for it on our Facebook page as well. The time right now, 6:52. Just clicked over. Sorry, Cindy, I missed you. Let's get a check of your weather.
Close enough to weather on the ones. We'll get your forecast right now. Mid to upper 20s and lower 30s. We are dealing with mostly cloudy to overcast skies for this morning. Also, as we're taking a look further north, we are also dealing with a little bit of patchy fog for this morning. This is our only concern that we're seeing. We are not worried about any snow for today. How about temperatures, though, in the mid-30s for this afternoon, and also seeing those warmer temperatures as we head towards your weekend. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Looking ahead now to the top stories we'll be following throughout the day here on News Channel 3. A Battle Creek family is mourning after a young disabled man was killed in a house fire. The Battle Creek Fire Department was called to the home on Summer Street just before midnight. The mother and father of the young man were transported to a burn unit in Kalamazoo. Both are reportedly on ventilators and in stable condition. 2 others in the home were treated and released. Now the fire inspector is working to find out what caused this tragic fire. The family of a missing medical resident from Kalamazoo is now offering a $15,000 reward to help find her. Talika Patrick was last seen December 5th. 2 new videos have surfaced on YouTube uploaded in November showing 30-year-old Patrick speaking to an apparent love interest. They're the newest pieces of a growing puzzle surrounding her disappearance. Today, a judge in Allegan County will decide if there's enough evidence to send 32-year-old Nathan Lavoie to trial. The Wayland Church music director is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old girl between 2011 and 2013. After he was charged, a second teenage girl came forward with more allegations. Lavoie is facing multiple counts of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct. Taking a live look at drivers right now, US 131 at 28th Street. Things starting to pick up on your Friday morning. Moving along well, though, in this spot. Cindy has one last check of your forecast after a quick break. Stay with us.
Quiet conditions for this morning. Just a little bit of fog or haze depending on your location. That's the only main concern for this morning. Mid-30s for this afternoon, lower to mid-40s for your Saturday, and then
Yeah, a nice last weekend for your 2013.
The last
at least.
Saturday for 2013 is looking pretty good.
Yeah, and then things change quickly.
And then winter comes back.
Well, that does it for us this morning. CBS This Morning coming up next.
And for continuing news, just head to WWMT.com. Everybody have a great Friday and a great weekend. We're back here at noon.